Namo Namaha. Welcome back to Sanskrit Without Tears. This is Lesson 4, Semivowels and Sibilants. Let me move over here. So far, we've learned the vowels as well as the consonants. The guttural row of k, k, g, g, and ng. The palatal row of ch, ch, j, j, and ny. The cerebral row of ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, ta, da, da, na. And the labials, which are p, p, b, b, m. P, p, b, b, m. Remember, the first column is unaspirated, the next one is aspirated. Aspiration means that h sound. So k, k, g, g. Okay? And this is a sound that's unique that at least we don't have in English. So this is one that we have to practice. Aspirated, unaspirated. So then the next column here, these are also unaspirated. G, and then g. G, g, g. And ng, which are, this column was the nasals. So hopefully you've practiced these, and don't worry if you haven't memorized them all completely, so that if I wake you up at midnight tomorrow and say, write down all the consonants, and don't worry about that. The point is that you have a good handle. You've practiced, you've written each row out at least 10, 15, 20, 30 times. You've written the letters maybe that are hard for you, even 10, 15, 20, 30 times more, so that they could seep into your system and you can create that connection between your hand and your brain. The reality is, the truth is, that as we go on and learn words and then phrases and sentences, you're going to be encountering these letters all year. You're going to be encountering them for the rest of your Sanskrit career, really. So don't worry about having everything perfect before you move on, okay? So I encourage you, whatever you've done, whatever you've studied, I congratulate you. And let's move on to learn the semivowels and the sibilants. So the semivowels are really these letters here. And I'll explain why the letter H is there in a minute. So this is the letter Y. Say Y. Not Ya. Y. Y. Okay? Y, 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 y. Because, why is it Y? Because this letter here, remember, does not equal A. The first rule of Sanskrit. Does not equal A. So this is the letter Y. Okay? This is the letter R. Just like in our English. Well, really not like in our English, like in Japanese or Spanish. Because instead of rabbit, we say rabbit. We say something like r, r. But this is r. Say r, r, r. Good. The next one is l, 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 l. And finally, we have v, v, v. Now notice that these are in a specific row. So for the semivowel Y, it's in the palatal row. That's because it comes from the same place in your mouth that the rest of the palatals do, even the vowels. So do you remember the palatal vowels? They are I, I, ch, ch, j, j, ny, y. All from around the same place in your mouth, okay? Then the cerebrals, the vowels were r, ri, or ru, ru, then ta, ta, da, da, na, and then ra. So what's the difference between r and ru? Very subtle. And to be frank, to be honest with you, in practice, in speaking, they're going to sound almost identical. But the cerebral, the r, ri, ru, ru, is a little bit less defined than the semivowel, okay? So very similar, they're enunciated in the same place in the mouth. Okay, then the dentals. T, t, d, d, n, l. That's where we say l. Isn't it beautiful how this is arranged? That in the same place in your mouth that you say the letter t, you also say the letter l, tl. Okay, and finally the labials. B, p, b, b, m, v. You use your lips to make that sound. You don't use your lips to make the sound y. Look, y, r, l, but you do for v. Okay, so try this. Say y, r, l, v. V is the only one that you need to use your lips to make, as are all of the labial sounds. P, p, b, b, m, v. Okay? Now, some of you may have noticed that these are, if we put the dot here, what is the dot called? Don't check your book. It should be in your memory now. Anusvara. Anusvara. Okay? If we add the anusvara, you'll notice that these become bija mantras. These are the seed syllables for the chakras. So, yum, 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 yum. This is not just something you say after you've had a great meal. This is the heart chakra bija. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, this is the sound associated with the heart center. Then, rang, ram, 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 ram. This is the sound associated with the Manipura chakra, the solar plexus. Then, lang, 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 lang. This is the root chakra associated with Ganesha and stability and the earth element. And then vam, 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 vam. This is the second chakra that is associated with the water element. Even just pronouncing these creates an effect. It can create a profound effect on your system. So just going through these chakras. So then the throat chakra would be h, right? Hum, 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 hum. Do this with me. Hum, 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 hum. Do you feel how your brain vibrates, how the skull vibrates? It's amazing. So this is the letter h. H is not technically a semivowel, but it is the last, considered the last letter of the Sanskrit alphabet. So why didn't we put it last? Because it is a guttural. So it fits on this same row here. So k, k, g, g, ng, h. K, k, g, g, ng, h. See how it's created in the back of your throat, the same place that the rest of these are created. So that's why we've put h here. Later, when I teach you how to use the dictionary, we're going to see that h is in fact the last letter of the alphabet. So aside from that, and just a couple of little differences in the vowels, this is the alphabetical order of the alphabet. But for right now, and for future grammatical purposes, it's most useful to learn the alphabet this way, to know what sound comes from what part of the mouth, rather than just in alphabetical order. So this is 95% alphabetical order, except that the h is not at the end, it's placed here. Okay? All right. Now let's practice writing the semivowels. Again, refer to your book for the order if you have any question. But I'm going to show you right here. Ready? So we always come down. Y. Down. Y. Not to be confused with the letter M, which is a straight down, and then you square it off like this. Okay, so this is Y. and this is M. You see the difference? The Y is also very similar to the letter, what's this one? This is T. T. So this is how we write the letter T. You see, very similar. The only difference really is that this line, the top line goes all the way across the Y. Okay? So there is Y one more time. And here is M one more time. And T one more time. Boy, I just love this letter T. Beautiful letter. Okay, so that's the letter Y. Now let's write the letter R. R is very easy. That's it. Okay? R is a triangular shape. You notice that? The triangular shape in Vastu Shastra, in the science of placement, of architecture, of how to arrange your house, the shape, the triangular shape, is associated with the fire element, with aspiration, fire, heat, and burning. And so this triangular letter that we have here, R, is associated with the fire chakra. Okay? So here's R, one more time, R. Fortunately, it doesn't look like anything else except the letter K. So often we will see students become confused between the letter R, especially when it's followed by the letter V. So we're going to get to V here in a second. But let's just do this for this sake here. We're going to add R and add the letter V. You see R and V? And now look at this. This is the same strokes. The only difference is that these are closer together. And in any font you read, these are going to be squished together. Whereas if we're reading a word like, the word Rava, okay, it's going to look like this. If it looks like this, it's the letter K. Okay? So this is something to watch out for, and you'll get used to it. When you see it a few times in your words, in your vocabulary list, it'll begin to kick in. Okay? So this is K, and this is Rava. Okay? So there's the letter R. Very easy, very simple to write. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the letter L. L is a beautiful letter. This one we start from down. This is one of the few letters that we start from the bottom and we draw up. Okay? And then we add this. I'll do it one more time. Start from the bottom. L. Okay? This is the letter of Ganesha and the Muladhara Chakra. Okay? Lam, 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 lam. And the word Lambodara. Lamba means to hang. Udara means belly. We're going to learn this word very soon in the next lesson. Udara means belly. Lamba udara, lambodara, means big belly, hanging belly. And look at how this letter hangs. It's lamba. Lamba. It's just hanging by a little thread there. And it's a big belly hanging. Okay? Cute letter. Just like Ganesh. Okay, so this is La. And finally, the letter V, which we just did. This, again, we don't start from the top. We start from the middle. We go out and draw the circle up and down. V. From the middle, out, draw the circle, boom. This, as you'll notice, is almost exactly like the letter B. You see the correlation here? The only difference is the letter B has a horizontal line. And in many languages, especially like Spanish, the b and the v are interchangeable. La valle, b, v. They're pronounced somewhere in between. So whether you're writing a b or a v, in Spanish and other languages, they're often interchangeable. And guess what? They are almost that way in Sanskrit. That's why in Hindi as well, that you say wak siddhi, wak, wata, wata. Instead of for the word vata, they say something like wata, like a W. That's what it sounds like. Okay? So that's again an interplay here between, they're both labial sounds, but in Sanskrit they are distinct. B is b, like bala, and va is va, like vamsha. Okay? So they are definitely distinct letters, but as you can see, the only difference is so this becomes ba and this is va, is that horizontal line. Okay? All right, so those are these semivowels. The semivowels are called antastha. Antastha. Let's write that down. Antastha. Notice that this letter a stays the same throughout. Nt, st, antastha. It doesn't go antastha, or it's not antastha or antastha. It's just antastha, the same. This is how you learn where the accent on any word goes. Here's the hard and fast rule. If a letter is long, the accent, you're going to hold it longer, so therefore the accent will be on that syllable with the long vowel. If it's short, you just go right through it. So antastha, antastha. There is no emphasis. Let's say one of these were long, say this one. Then it would be antastha, antastha. Where's the emphasis? On the long vowel. If it were in the beginning, antastha, antastha. You see? How would it sound if it were at the end? Antastha, antastha, antastha. Practice this. Let's practice this. This is the key to pronouncing Sanskrit properly. Once you have this, everything becomes easy. It's all downhill. So when the long is at the end, antastha, antastha. When it's in the middle, antastha, antastha. Now what if both the first and the second are long? Antastha, antastha. What if the second and the third are long? Antastha, antastha, antastha. Okay? And if they were all long, antastha, antastha, antastha. And now let's return to the real word. Antastha, antastha. Okay? So antastha means, anta means inside or between. Stha means standing. This is where our word to stand comes from. You will find many, many words come in the English language come from Sanskrit, or even farther back, if you're a linguist or an academician, from the Proto-Indo-European language. But many of them are directly from Sanskrit, and this is one of them. The word is stha, means to stand or to stay, and that's where our word stand or stay comes from. So those which are or which stand in between. So they're not quite consonants, they're not quite vowels. Y. Like we have this in English. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, right? Y is a in-between vowel. Yara lava. Okay? Yara lava. Yara lava. Yara lava. Say it. Yara lava. Yara lava, baby. Yara lava. Yara lava, yara lava, yara lava, yara lava. Okay? Those are the semivowels. Okay, so now I forgot to show you how to write H. Poor neglected H. Hani. Hani means neglected. Ha. Huyate. So, H starts from the top, short line down, and then we're going to draw a loop across here like this. See that? And then come back and finish. Okay? I'll do it once again. Short line down, a loop across here with a little face, a little pending here, and then whoosh, there it is. H. Let me do it one more time. Short line down, come across like this, and there's our H. Now you might have a better way to do it. This is how I do it. And for reference, check in your book. Okay? We don't like to be always by the book. We can be creative. Maybe you want to write it like this. Yeah, don't write it like that. This is the easiest way I found. Okay? So this is the letter H. As I said before, H is the last letter of the alphabet. And so the word aham, the first letter, H, the last letter. Aham means I, which means that I, the Atma, the self that I am comprised of all of these mantras, of these akshara. Remember the word akshara? Akshara means that which does not decay, that is immortal. Akshara. It also means letter or phoneme. Phoneme. It's such a phony word. Akshara is the real word. Akshara is the word that they translated into, more or less, into the word phoneme in linguistics. So the body, you, the body, the mind, and the self is composed of these 49 to 52 letters, depending on if we add a couple extra, which we will here in a second, which means that you are made of vibration. You are, this is the word, this is the sound, this is the mantra that you are composed of. Aham. This is how we write aham. Remember the letter A? And then the letter H. And the, what's the dot called? Anusvara. This is aham. Aham means I, all that I am. It means I am. I or I am. Okay? Aham, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman. I am that. Okay? Soham, soham, I am that. So aham. So ha is the last letter of the alphabet. And it is, notice that the word aham is also finished with an anusvara. So expanding, then ha destroying, and coming back to the primordial dot, which in astrophysics is the black hole, the point of infinite density and infinite smallness, infinite energy. Aham, and this is who you are. You are the universe. You are the as below, so above. You are the embodiment of this universal principle. And in Sanskrit, it is believed that by the clever, fortuitous, and intuitive ordering of these akshara, of these letters, that you can create certain vibrations that evoke specific aspects of that universe. So in the old days, it is said that the rishis, the seers, didn't need televisions, they didn't need telephones. By doing mantras, by pronouncing these akshara in a certain order, in a certain way, they could access knowledge that was far distant. They knew that the planet Jupiter was extremely dense, so they called it Guru. Guru means dense, heavy. They knew that the planet Saturn was extremely light, and they associated it with Vayu, the air element. And in fact, from modern astronomy, we know that Saturn is the only planet that if you were to put it on a lake of water, it would float. Because it's made of gas, air. How do they know this? In their inner vision, they were able to access higher states of consciousness, in my opinion, that allowed them to see things, to understand things very far away, both physically and intellectually, the things that the intellect couldn't comprehend. So I invite you to play with these sounds. And what we'll be doing in learning vocabulary is accessing the vibrational value of different organs, for example. So the word for the belly is udara, 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 udara. So as you say this, there's a vibrational reference to this part of the body. Aham, I, aham brahmasmi. Okay? Sorry for that little rant, but it's Sanskrit. And Sanskrit is not just about learning a language. Sanskrit is about penetrating into the matrix of the universe, into the matrix of a culture, specifically, that comprehends Ayurveda, Jyotisha, Vastu Shastra, Yoga, Vedanta, and Tantra, and so many other Vedic disciplines. So this is your key, your passkey into this world of Vedic knowledge. Okay? So I'll be digressing a little bit. I hope you don't mind too much, or you could just fast forward these parts if you do. Okay? So, H, that is the letter H, the last letter of the alphabet, but placed here because it is a guttural. Okay? So now, let's get to the sibilants. The first sibilant is the palatal sh. Sh, say sh. This is using your tongue in the same place, roughly the same place where you say any of these sounds. Ch, ch, j, j, nya, ya, sh. Notice that the tongue doesn't have to move much. Sh is written like the number 21. Short line down, and then the number 21. 21 sheep. That's how I remembered it when I was studying. 21 sheep. How many sheep do you count when you sleep? 21 sheep. Sh. And it's transliterated, again, with as a SA with the accent aigu, with this accent mark above it. That indicates the palatal sh. Sh. Which differentiates it from the cerebral sh. Now we're going to curl our tongue back. Whenever there's a dot, means you curl your tongue back, point straight to your pineal gland, and pronounce. So this is the letter sh, 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 oshadha, sh, ashtanga yoga. Okay, ashta, sh versus sh, 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 sh. May be hard to hear the difference, but just focus on moving your tongue, and you will say the difference. So, sh, 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 sh. In fact, there's a word, shesha. Say this word, shesha, shesha, shesha. It's written by these two letters, sh and sh. This is how we write sh. Sh is very easy. It looks just like what letter? There it is. It looks just like the letter P, except it has the horizontal line. So in this labial row, we've got a couple of imposters. We've got the letter P and the letter B, even the letter B, which looks like the letter T. Boy, these guys are all imposters. You know, it is the Saturn row. Saturn is a dark, can be a little bit of a underworld type of planet. Not shadowy, that's Rahu, but Saturn is a little bit difficult to pin down because he's so far away as a planet and very dark. The sun doesn't get there. So P and B look like the other letters. So this is sh. Big difference between sh and P. Okay, so this is sh and this is P. So say this. She sh. She sh. She sh. Now what if it were backwards? Let's say this word. She sh. She sh. She sh. Notice how your tongue has to go back and forth, back and forth. It's hard. There is no word like this. The word is shesha. Shesha means remainder, what's left, or it also refers to a cosmic serpent. Okay? So that's the letter sh. The final sibilant is the letter s. It's just like our S. Stop it. S. Okay? So the letter S now is the first stroke is just like the stroke for R. Looks just like the R, right? Then we're going to come from the R. You see that? We're going to write a R, come up from the middle and down, and put our bar across. This is S. One way that was easy for me to remember, in the English alphabet, RS. So we have R, S. So you write the R, and then the S comes from that. RSTUV, right? So you write the R, and then up and down. That's the letter S. Okay? And S is said from the same row as all the dentals. Ta, ta, da, da, na, la, S. Feel how your tongue has to come up against the teeth? S. I got a little bit of a lisp, but you're probably going to say it better. S. Okay? So your homework for this lesson is to practice these semivowels and sibilants until you've got them down. Okay? But before we end this lesson, I want to show you 3 extra letters that are added to the alphabet. They are called compounds. Okay? So the first compound, and the reason they're added is because they're very common. These are extremely common, so it's better to learn them right now. The first compound is the letter ñ. This is a very common letter because it itself means to know, ñ. So here's how we write it. It is a combination of the letters j, the letter j, plus the letter ñ. J plus ñ equals, and I'll just take the liberty here of erasing this, equals ñ. Okay? So now, as with the letter r, ru, ri, there are 3 ways to say this. The most pedestrian way, the way you'll hear people maybe just on the streets, or people maybe who don't know a lot of Sanskrit, is you will hear it pronounced as gya. So the word jnana. Okay? So the word is jnana, but people will pronounce it jnana. Okay? That's the first way. It's acceptable if you have to. Okay? There is a better way to pronounce it. This is a combination of j and nya. So you say gnya. Say gnya. Like you're swallowing the j and then saying the nya. Gnya. So the word becomes jnana. Say it with me. Jnana. Jnana. Okay? That's the second and a better way than just jnana. What do you follow? I follow jnana yoga. Well, better, if you follow jnana yoga, you should know how to say the word, right? So say jnana, because jnana yoga is the path of the intellect, the path of intelligence. So jnana, okay? Then the more higher elite Sanskritists, but you won't hear this a lot, they actually just combine j and nya and they say jnana, jnana. It almost sounds elitist, doesn't it? I follow jnana yoga, jnana yoga. So you don't hear that a lot. Probably best to stick with jnana. Okay? So here is j, right? This is j, and here is gnya. Same. J and gnya. Okay? Don't worry if you don't have these down, either in pronunciation or, well, the pronunciation should be coming, but in memorization, because we're going to be going over these over and over in the words that we're going to be learning. So I'm going to be putting together words for you in the next lesson to help you practice. Okay? So the first letter we're learning is gnya. All right? The next letter is another compound, and it is the compound ksha. Ksha. It is a combination of the letter k, plus the letter sh. Okay? So I'll write it here. K plus sh equals ksha. Plus sh equals ksha. Okay? Ksha. This is a very common letter. Akshaya, kshaya, akshara. This is in the word akshara. So now, let's practice writing ksha, and we can write this word akshara. Amazing, we're already writing. So here is, I'm excited. I don't know if you're excited. I'm excited. Here's the letter ksha. It looks like a little bit like the musical staff symbol. So we start from the middle, okay? We go up like this, okay? And we continue down, and like that. This is a very ugly form. I'm sure you're writing it better. And then continue from where we started here. Voila, ksha. Now I'll write it just in one stroke. It actually takes 2 strokes. Ksha, okay? This one definitely refer to your book for specifics if you're having a hard time. Let's try it one more time. Okay? Ksha. So the letter ksha, so now let's write the word akshara. So we've got ksha already. We'll write the letter in front of it. You do remember don't you? 31 apples. 31 apples, 21 sheep. Sh, remember sh, 21? So ksha, how do we write r? Akshara. Congratulations, you just wrote your first word. Yay! This is awesome. Akshara. means letter of the alphabet, that which does not waste away. Okay, so ksha was the second letter to learn. Now, the next one is the compound tr, which is just what it sounds like. The letter T, T, plus the letter R. And this is how we write it. So actually two ways to write it. You can just write it as the letter T with a little stick there on the bottom. Simple. The letter T, right? There's the letter T with a little stick on the bottom. Done. That's one way. The other and more common way, I would say, is like that. And you'll see this in your text and in the font. In the font that most computers use, they'll write it something like this. But both are acceptable. Okay? So this is the letter T plus R equals tr. Okay? Tr. So that's a very common compound consonant, like in the word mitra or sutra. Okay? So these are the akshara, the letters that you need to learn for this lesson. Writing, and we'll meet you in the next lesson. Namo Namaha.